What does a really quick sketch of this look like, and how do I think in my head as I go? Let me show you in real time. But while I'm drawing quicker than usual as part of the challenge of this scene, I'm still going to keep the relative slower tempo at the start and then becoming faster as I move into the more peripheral areas. And I'm also, as usual, going to start with what I think is the most straightforward, the easiest shapes to see and to do, this front section here. And I'm paying particular attention at this point to the angles, noting that the ground level isn't a perspective angle. It won't follow the perspective patterns because it's not horizontal. And there's a bit of street clutter around. I also want to, as best I can with the time, create a sense of that. So let's go. And just a reminder that you're watching this in real time. This took me a smidgen over 20 minutes to draw, and you're seeing all of it at this point. That includes the moments where I pause to just look at the reference, or perhaps to, even more importantly, look to see what I'd drawn and how it was coming along and work out what I was going to do next. Please let me know in the comments if you find the real-time videos helpful, and hit that like button for me as well. So at this point I'm just eyeballing everything, and while my aim is to draw things at really the same size, whoops, I'm just going to see how it goes, aren't I? And you will often see me go over my perspective angles and just to shift them slightly. And this is because I'm always observing what I've just done in regard to the overall fan shape pattern that we expect in that particular part of the building relative to the other angles that have been established. I have to keep making sure that the further we go up from eye level, the angle increases ever so slightly. Often like to do a bit of detail at the start just to help it feel more like what it is for me at this earlier stage, and it also helps me to make some judgments and decisions about detail in other parts. Once I get this front stretch done, I've got a nice, if you like, measuring stick or ruler to help me align the rest of the drawing. So this is quite a pleasing place to get to. And if I thought that these proportions were way off at this early stage, I might be tempted to start again and to build on what I've learned in these first few minutes. Now let's get these perspective angles sorted, shall we? And I need this width. I'm only going to go to where that shadow is at the moment because I think it could be a different building on the other side. Just a few dots down here for that edge because I've got this tree to put in, so I'm going to do that first as well. So I'm lining this up with the center of this window. I'll just pop the rest of this in here. some guidelines for these windows. Keeping this fan-shaped pattern of angles. And I'll just make this, well, or I could just increase these. Now I have 6 windows, I counted before. And I need to take foreshortening into account. As these windows move further away, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they narrow and the spaces between them narrow as well. And there is a stop sign here, or the back of one. So I'm going to there's another pole, don't know what it's for, it's not that important. With what I call the street clutter, I don't feel the need to do it so much exactly as to suggest that it's there. It's more a feeling of authenticity that it gives to the scene, rather than a detail that I feel I'm trying to draw precisely. I let the architecture be that. Let the architecture be the detail I'm trying to draw. So now that I've done this, I can... So very quick, and I really want marks that in the end will speak very differently to the marks that I use to create the building. I want them to feel very different. Okay, and there is a downpipe that comes down. How's that time going? Oh, 6 minutes have gone. And now we have under here so I'm now looking at this and I'm just eyeballing that because that's all I've got to go with it. Then we have a doorway that lines up with that, and then we have one more window before that downpipe comes down, which I can just manage. I might just bump the downpipe out slightly. There you go. And then we have, I don't know, there's a street sign or some dangly thing there. And then I think we just have 2 windows further back. And now we've got this doorway to, so here's the actual door. So all of our hatching is going to be brisk, whatever purpose it's for, because we don't have time for it to be much else. Those rain clouds are coming, let's say. So I need to keep moving. So now we're going to go down the street, and I will also just include a bit of the street here. So I'm now able to pick up pace a little bit because I've got more to reference off and I'm a little bit warmed up too. I'm going to get these 3 windows and I'll explain why I'm doing those in a moment. I do need to get this angle happening though, at least the angle between. I'm going to position this, I'm going to do the down ones first, so I'm just being careful where that is. So, and these are the sorts of things I'm looking at here. Again, a little slower with this first window down this side street, because nothing to do it from. And now the reason I've been a bit cautious is because I want to get this telegraph pole in, since it goes up to about there, so it goes up. And this telegraph pole, I think, is going to be important for a sense of 3 dimensions in the street. It's also why I didn't draw this line all the way down. But now I'll at least put a few dots to help me just visualize more of the line to compare with what I want to do. And now I can quickly, so you see, go upwards. So actually, I probably should. And remember the fan shape, the important thing is that the angles fit in the pattern for where they're supposed to be. This is a downhill, but actually the line is almost horizontal, which is just a little trap to look out for. And now I can take this down here. How are we going? Oh, 13 minutes. I need to be faster. So now we have, let's really jump down these buildings. But this is where I also need to just pay attention in case they don't necessarily all line up, as is the case here. Now we have this clutter here. I'm just going to establish where this plantings and that line's not real accurate, so I'm just going to correct it a little bit as I go. There's another window here. And up here. And a downpipe. Then another window. You can see now how the tempo is picking up now with these windows. If you were wondering, gosh, he's never going to finish all those on time. One, two, three, four. One, 2, 3, 4. So there's now just this. Okay, it's like a vent that goes way up. I imagine what's coming out of there don't smell real nice, eh? So just re-establishing this the way I want it to be. And down here we have another and then we have some, I don't know, street defences here. I don't know what they are. And we have another one of those there, and we have another one. So I'm now going to just quickly finish this, so then I can really move fast now with the other buildings. We're 16 minutes. So far it's a roughly 15-minute drawing. And let me just add here, just so we're kind of finished up here. There are some trees, little shrub things in the planter there. And we'll just add, and I think I'm also going to add now again, because it just helps the sense of 3 dimensions. The shadow's actually darker in the center of that, and it's darker as it moves. So now we've got these buildings to go. So this line continues, so that's going to be, and I'm looking at this width, which isn't very far. Look how far I took that line past where I should have. And I should have known better than that. But it's checking the angles and making sure that they fit whatever patterns we have. And I've got 4 windows here. Gosh, I only had 3. Well, I've drawn 4, so that's what it is. It ain't going to matter too much down here. But notice this actually slopes upwards. I made that mistake of sloping it down, but this is where I can make a correction. And this actually is pretty level or sloping up too. See, I haven't paid attention. So I'm just, see, because it's under these lines which slope upwards. So having done that, now I have, so this one goes up to just a bit above there. Now I'm going to go really light. So down here. Don't need to put detail in there. So here we have this. Okay, so what we do have, we have this arch. And we have that line continuing to come there, and we have this one. So that angle sort of continues, and then level with here, although it's a different building, it's sort of at the same place. So and we want to make sure this is narrower than that, because that's how perspective works. Should have left it as it was. Don't you know that feeling? I bet you do. Down here, they all angle up. There's actually a little house down here. And look, let's just give a sense of this car that's here. After all, we want people to know this is a street. And now we have the hint of another tree. What do you think? 22 minutes, real time. Is that a quick drawing? I think it's a quick drawing for what we've drawn. Maybe we do want to just give a little more sense of something happening further back without trying to make it too emphatic. And maybe just do something with this door, eh? Yeah. And, oh look, we may as well just, I'm going to try, let me see if I can write this in. Just in case anyone from Sydney is watching this. Let's just give a sense that this is good old Sydney sandstone blocks. I think we're done. What do you think? Do you want to take the 22, 23 minute challenge and see how you go in a quick draw? Why not? Please hit that like button for me and you'll find this reference, or you'll find the link to the reference in the video description below. So why not have a go? G'day, I'm Stephen Travers. A little bit of fun, something really a fair bit looser, but it's great to see how the skills we develop when we have a more considered, a slower pace of drawing, of observation, of taking care, to see how that translates when we really put ourselves under the pump, as they say. So, hope you give this a go. But look, in the end, whatever you draw, however you draw it, however fast you draw it in, and in whatever style you draw it in, make sure you have fun. I'll see you next time. Bye.